Hi, this is Anna Imagination with a Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. We're going to get right down dirty with this one. Are you ready? This is for you. This is for all of you. You have a narcissist. You have an abuser. Okay, let's just call them an abuser. Okay, and you have an emotional prosthetic. An emotional prosthetic is a person or an animal that the abuser uses to project their own happiness and expectations onto. Now, you have an abuser who basically seeks happiness. They desire happiness. They desire love. They desire control. Okay? I can get into this. We're going to get into why elsewhere. Right now, we just need to focus on the fact that the abuser is someone who desires happiness, love, or control. They might also desire acceptance. That's it. Happiness, love, control, or acceptance. I'm just give me a second here to make sure this is full circle. Happiness. They want to be happy. They want to have love. They want to be loved. They want control. They want to feel safe. That's the other one. They want to feel safe. They want to feel accepted. Belonging, safety, in control. That's power, love, and happiness. That's it. All right. So there are 5 primary elements to the human condition: happiness, love, power, belonging, and safety. Belonging is acceptance. Okay? When you have all of these things combined, you literally have happiness, you have calm, you have contentment. If any of these things are missing, that's the problem. So what happens with an abuser? An abuser will project. They will always project. Now, a non-abuser will internalize. Abusers project. So here's how this works. When you have someone who abuses, they desire either happiness, being loved, controlled, accepted, or safety, but they don't know how to get these things. Because they don't know how to get these things, and the answer to get those things is they have to find them within themselves, but they don't know how, and they are afraid of themselves. So the very things that they desire and want and need and love are the things inside of them, but they're afraid of themselves and they don't know how. So they feel helpless. Now we're back to not feeling in control. So in order to feel these emotions, instead of finding the natural resource, they find artificial methods. The artificial method is an emotional prosthetic. So their choice is naturally resources within to get these 5 things, or using an emotional prosthetic. You, the abused, are the emotional prosthetic. Now, this is what happens in the case of abuse. The abuser seeks out an emotional prosthetic. This can be a cat, this can be a dog, this can be a horse, it can be an animal, it can be a child, it can be an employee, employer, it could be a spouse, a partner. It's another human being or an animal. The abuser will seek out an emotional prosthetic. Their goal is to get happiness. That is their agenda, the pursuit of happiness. However, and they might want love is what they feel they need to get happiness. They might feel control to be happy. They are looking for acceptance. They're looking for safety. That's it. They're looking for these 4 things, and their agenda is happiness. So instead of looking at this stuff in themselves because they don't know how or they're afraid to, they will project that pursuit of happiness onto an animal or a person. The person becomes the object of their happiness. This makes the abused an emotional prosthetic. Now, this is the contradiction. This is the catch-22 loop. They seek happiness by projecting it onto others. They take an emotional prosthetic and say, this emotional prosthetic will make me happy. But that's not how you get happiness. You can only get happiness inside of yourself under a very certain formula, which I have. If you can't do it, then you seek out the emotional prosthetic. But the emotional prosthetic is not the answer. So the abuser gets angry. The abuser says, "You have failed me. You're not working. You're not making me happy. Do better." The abuser will then attack, abuse, reprimand, scold, beat, rape, control, dance, choreography, whatever it can do to the emotional prosthetic to get the emotional prosthetic to work right. When that fails, the abuser will lash out, scold, abuse, hate on, etc., etc., and so forth. Because they are using an emotional prosthetic to supplement and to gain access to being loved, being controlled, being accepted, and feeling safe. But they're not doing the work. So they try again. And now you are in this endless cycle where instead of resolving their problem, they are projecting their need and pursuit of happiness onto the emotional prosthetic. But the emotional prosthetic is not the answer. The emotional prosthetic is going to fail. When the emotional prosthetic fails the abuser is going to abuse you. So there's two modes from the abuser. The expectation of happiness or scolding and punishment for failing to give them happiness. But there's a catch. The emotional prosthetic is not the answer to happiness. So you have been assigned as an emotional prosthetic. Emotional prosthetics have been assigned an impossible dream, an unaccomplishable goal. They have put expectations on you that are unachievable. Failure not only is an option, it is the only monopoly because they are using a person for something that is not possible. So what ends up happening is the emotional prosthetic gets caught up in this loop of high expectations, failure being punished, high expectations, failure being punished, and there's their loop. The abuser is going, "I want to be loved. I want to feel control. I want to be accepted. I want to feel safe." And they will project, instead of doing the self-work, they will project that onto the emotional prosthetic. Do this, dance, walk, run, dance, entertain me. Why aren't you making me happy? And the emotional prosthetic is in this loop going, I'm trying. And then I'm so terrible. I'm so horrible. Stop. The only answer is the emotional prosthetic has to exit. That's it. There is no other option. The emotional prosthetic has to acknowledge the cycle they are in, and they have to walk away from the projector. Look, I am not your emotional prosthetic. Your happiness is not my responsibility. You don't know what happiness is. You don't know where to find happiness. You need to go do some mental work. Leave me alone. I am not responsible for your happiness. Your pursuit of happiness is not my responsibility. It's yours. Now, that kind of an answer is going to force the projector, the abuser, to immediately glance at themselves and go, "Oh, I'm not looking at that. I'm scared of that." So they won't do it. So they will seek out another projector. Now, the emotional prosthetic, if they can get away, has two problems. The first problem is they don't know what's wrong because they don't have the big picture. And they have this conditioned training inside of them to seek out this catch-22 guaranteed lose-lose situation. It's a lose-lose scenario. Literally, it's a lose-lose guaranteed failure scenario. So now you have an emotional prosthetic. You have an individual who is absolutely caught up in a lose-lose cycle that there is no way they can possibly win. So they will do one of two things. They will go to therapy or they will repeat the cycle. That is the problem. Now, I just provided you with an assignment in the previous video to this, which is the next step in breaking the cycle and getting you out of it. Now, if you are a projector, Triadic Healing will walk you through how the pursuit of happiness and how to get to those 5 things. And it also addresses the fear of the self and how to. Oh yeah, this is like all coming together. I concluded this like 3-4 days ago, and it's all finally come together. And I'm like, wow, this is really simple when I look at it like this. I love the philosopher's compass. All right, so consider this video 2 of triadic healing, because this is it. Like, this is it. All right, emotionals and production. So there you go. I think I'm gonna focus now on the 5 things, basically the pursuit of happiness. That's really what needs to be talked about, is the pursuit of happiness. Now, everyone projects. Everyone projects. If you have a pet, there is a good chance your animal is an emotional prosthetic. My Tribble was my emotional prosthetic. Absolutely. Animals are used all the time. Now, this does not mean you have to get rid of your animal. I'm going to say this again, because there's a lot of people, oh my God, I got to go. Shh. Because if you are a projector and you're using an emotional animal or an emotional prosthetic for this, the first thing is, oh my God, it's everyone's going to hit the panic button, because there is the concept of, do I have to get rid of my pet? No, you do not have to get rid of your pet. Now, here's the thing. If you are an emotional prosthetic, you need to get the fuck out. But if you are the projector, you need to just refocus. You need to direct your pursuit of happiness inside of you instead of projecting it onto other people. So that's it. You just have a faulty, as a projector, you just have a faulty pursuit of happiness. That's it. Instead of doing it internally, you're exuding it. But people don't know how to pursue happiness inside of themselves. So we're going to walk you through that. So you don't have to get rid of your pet. And you do not have, if you are a projector, you do not have to get rid of your pet. You do not have to get rid of the people in your life. If you are a projector, you're going to get a whole different type of, your training is completely different than the internalizer. If you are an emotional projector, get away from the abuser, get away from the projector. That is the big deal right there. Because they might come around. You don't know. And in the meantime, you're caught in this catch-22 cycle that's not healthy. Now, my partner and I have mastered the art of, we were each other's emotional prosthetic. When 2 internalizers come together. When 2 internalizers come together, this is possible. 2 projectors can come together, and like beta fish, they will fight to the death. So that's very unlikely. So what you end up with is a projector and an internalizer. That's your codependency. Or you end up with, like in my case with my partner, you end up with 2 internalizers. When you end up with 2 internalizers, that's a whole nother little chemistry nest. And we separated, we broke the codependency, we did the health work, and we are supporting each other from a distance, going, I love you, you take care of you, I'm going to support you, and that's all I can do. So we did this, taking a break, making ourselves separate, reestablishing, rebuilding, doing the interdependent thing, supporting each other, loving each other from a distance, while we both do our own thing to break the codependency. So when 2 internalizers come together. So if you are a projector, you're going to get one type of therapy. If you are an internalizer, you're going to get another kind of therapy. Now, here's the other kicker. Everybody has both. And no matter what you are going to take on the role of the projector sometimes. And if you are an internalizer, or if you are a projector, you are going to take the role of internalizer. So there's definitely 2 different ways of looking at this. And if you have a relationship where you are the projector and your partner is the internalizer, that's going to require one kind of therapy. And if you are both internalizers, that's going to require a different kind of therapy. So there's like 4 types of therapy. Wow, this is really, really wow. So 4 types of therapy, and depending upon which one, and really it's the same thing. You all need boundaries. That's it. Boundaries corrects all of this. That's it. Boundaries is like the key linchpin to all of this. Boundaries, and I'm going to say this a million times over, is how you handle conflict. It is your ability to not internalize and not project. And it's basically a which side of the spectrum are you on, and it puts you right where you need to be in the neutral zone. All right, that's it. So if you love shit like this, like, subscribe, follow below, comment, let me know what part of the show resonated with you. And I am building my community. Finally got my call to action. I'm building my community. Let me know if you want to be part of it. Take a look at the cities directory below on my Linktree account and look through the Linktree account. I have 4 pillars. You can join all of them. You can join one of them. If there's any part of this, if you just want to come in, visit, and say, I need respite and I need to call this place home while I heal, welcome on. I'm building a community. So grab the Linktree account, look at the city directory, decide which part of the Healing Garden / Authentic City is for you. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.